Hi everyone, I'm Larissa Graham. I think I know most of you guys, but I work for Mississippi Alabama Sea Grant. I'm just going to do a quick intro. First, I just wanted to welcome you all and thank the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative. That's where our funding comes from. I'm going to talk about them in a second. And then also the Disaster Response Center for letting us have this seminar today. All of our presenters and our panelists who you're going to meet throughout the day. And then all of you for coming. So your reward is we're having Winsel's for lunch. And I got us some good stuff, so. Okay, so just quickly, I'm sure a lot of you, I see a lot of faces that I know, but I want to just quickly tell you a little bit about why we're here today and the purpose of our outreach program. So for those that don't know, the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative started back after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. It's a $500 million 10-year research initiative that focuses on looking at how oil and dispersants interact with one another, how they move around the environment, and also how they impact our people, our habitats, our water quality, and our wildlife and fisheries in the Gulf. So the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative had all this great science and all these scientific publications coming out, and so they teamed up with Sea Grant, the Sea Grant programs in the Gulf of Mexico, to start sharing some of that science with our coastal audiences. If you're not familiar with Sea Grant, come see one of us throughout the day. We'll tell you a little bit more, but Sea Grant funds research, but we also do a lot of extension and education work, so we have trusted relationships with our community, so that's why we were a good fit for this, this project. So this is our outreach team, and 3 of our members are here today. I'm going to start on the left and go to the right. So Tara Skelton, she's over here in the front. Tara's our communicator. She started with us in phase 2, so we're in the second phase of our program. Our Louisiana specialist is Emily Monk Douglas. She's actually on the line today, making sure everything goes okay. Monica Wilson is also here in person. She's our specialist in Florida with Florida Sea Grant. Our specialist over in Texas is Chris Hale, and she's with Texas Sea Grant. I'm based in Mobile here, and I focus on both Alabama and Mississippi. And then Steve Sempier, who you guys, some of you might know, he's over in Mississippi as well. He's our coordinator. And if you want to learn more about our team, there's a printout, so I'm not going to go into our backgrounds or what we do, but that's who we are. And the purpose of our program is to share science with our coastal audiences, like I said. So we have these oil spill topics that we focus on. So things like how oil moves around the environment, dispersants, how spills impact humans, and also how they impact wildlife and habitats. And I mentioned we work with different audiences. So, a lot of times people think that's the general public. It's not the general public. We work with 11 different audiences spanning from fishing, people in the fishing industry, tourism industry, emergency responders, researchers, elected officials, natural resource managers. So each of these audiences really do have specific needs. So when we started our program, we took a lot of time to go around and ask people what questions they had, and then based on that, we developed a lot of outreach products. So it's a two-way relationship. So we ask people what their needs are, and then we use that information to put together outreach products. We're also constantly assessing those needs and getting feedback from our audiences. So if you guys have questions that you think people you work with or interact with might have about oil spills, let us know, because that's what we're here for. So we create these products, and what do these products look like? We have publications. So the hard copies, we have most of them, as many as I can fit on the table. They focus on all different topics, ranging again from dispersants, wildlife, fisheries, human health impacts. So those are all over there. For those online, you can visit our website, and they're all on our website. We also do seminars like the one we're having today. And these are all recorded, so that's obviously why what we're doing now. So those are on our website as well. So just the purpose of today's seminar. This is a series. It's one of 3 seminars that are in this series. And we pulled together this series because we really wanted to, well, like I said, we have a lot of different audiences. And sometimes we have a seminar and researchers are talking about stuff that might not relate to every audience, right? Because everything relates to every audience. So we did these so we can really focus in on the response community. So that's the purpose of our seminar. We already held one in late October that focused on wetlands, so I know some of you were there. If not, all the recordings are online. It was set up just like today's is. Today's our one focused on nearshore habitats and beaches. And then we have a date for this one, so January 9th over in Louisiana, we're going to be focusing on offshore and deep sea habitats. So save the date, and everyone, whether you're online or sitting in this room, if you're not on our email list, we're going to add you. Let us know if you don't want to be on there, but we'll add you, and then so you'll get the announcements moving forward. So 3 goals today. The first one is to discuss how science is currently used in response efforts, also touching on monitoring and restoration. The second objective is to share new science that could be used. And then the third is to really dig a little deeper and look at both, look at needs from both the response side and the research side and see if there's any way, what are the needs and are there any way for us being CGRAM or others to fill those needs. So our agenda, we're going to kick it off. We have 2 speakers. We're going to talk a little bit about how response works just to kind of get everybody on the same page. And then we'll do a panel, then we'll take a break. Then we're going to have a research panel where these are all researchers that are focusing on different topics related to those nearshore environments. So we'll have just some time to ask them questions, hear a little bit more about what they're doing. Then we'll have our lunch, and then after we'll have some case studies. So this is where we're looking at examples of how science is actually used in response. And then we're going to do something, and we did a similar activity when we had our last our wetlands seminar. We're going to have a discussion, breakout discussion, and for those online, we're going to send you a survey if you want to give us your input. But for those in the room, this is the really important part of the day because this is where we really work together to talk about some of those needs, identify those gaps, and really see what we as a community can do to kind of address some of those needs. So we hope everybody will stick around for that. And just quickly, so at our wetlands seminar, there were a few questions that people had, and we know our outreach program, and I think some of you in the room kind of know that there are already some resources that can fill some of the needs that people had. So we just pulled together a couple of slides. For those that are in person, there's actually a hard copy with all the websites of all these resources I'm going to show you guys. For those online, we posted it on the website. So I think Tara put the web address in there. So the first one is, if you're not familiar, the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative has this tool online. It's this research tool, and you can go online. You can type in, here I typed in the word beach, and you can see number of projects, 18. So there's 18 different projects that have been funded that have focused on beaches. So this will give you a description of what the project focused on, tell you who was working on it, so it's a really good tool. Another one, at the wetlands seminar, a lot of folks were asking about, well, what about data? There's so much data out there. Well, the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative also has this database where anything that's funded by them, you can actually go online and download that data. So again, all the websites are in that handout, but this is just another example. I did beach here too, and you can see there's 61 data sets that are available that focus on some topic related to beaches. And maybe some of our panelists today will talk about some of these projects. So if you're not familiar, there's also some resources. So exploring data, the Diver Explorer is available online. And I was just playing around. I don't know too much about this website, but there's a ton of stuff on there. Also IRMA, a lot of the response community I think is familiar with IRMA. And IRMA has a lot of, it's GIS based, so you can kind of dig in and check out a lot of data through that too. On the response side, another question people had was, how does response work? Where can you go to learn more about how response works? So there's a bunch of websites that we listed that kind of give you an overview of how response works. And another need people identified was trying to figure out where we go to see available training. And so there's a couple of websites on that handout as well that focus on that. So we'll probably identify even more needs today, and we'll end up taking that resource guide and beefing it up even more. But we just wanted to have something that you guys could walk away with if you wanted to be able to have those resources all in one place. Okay, so, oh yeah, I was wondering if I should say this or not. So since this focuses on beaches, I was going to say, guys, now it's time to dig in. Get it? Come on, that's funny. That's funny. Okay.